Is the right time in your time zone, right?
Yeah, it's 9 o'clock.
Okay,
Yep.
cool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Demonic machine. Demonic machines. Demonic machines. Demonic machines. Live.
Welcome all of our late guests.
Uh huh.
I guess I'll go on the Demonic Machines live again and see if anyone is paying attention.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm sure they'll trickle in,
Oh yeah, usually,
but
hopefully.
I thought I don't know. I was just not sure what like it's so confusing because I'm in Arizona and Arizona doesn't do daylight savings time. So
Yeah,
I'm in mountain time but without daylight savings time. So I'm
which
actually the same time as Pacific time right now.
it's a
But
little strange.
yeah. Yeah, like I mean I like everyone should do daylight savings time or no one should do daylight savings time. Like it shouldn't be this like some places do and some places don't because then it just becomes
Trivial.
confusing. Yeah.
I think that's
Um.
notifying you that I'm on the live right now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it is.
Well, it says we're
Um.
telling followers to join the video, so I'll wait and see if anyone pops in. But in the meantime, we're what number episode? What we're number 2 of season 2?
Yeah, season 2, episode 2
New
of
metal.
Demonic Machines Live. Yeah, it's the new metal episode. Um. So We're gonna tell you all about new metal. Mostly Deuce because Deuce knows new metal better than I do.
Should we
Uh.
define new metal?
Oh my God, that'll take the whole show. But yeah, we can.
How about since I got my phone on the live, do you want to pull up what the internet dictionary definition of new metal
Sure.
is?
Sure. New metal.
It's
New
very
metal,
exciting.
music genre. New metal is a subgenre of alternative metal that combines elements of heavy metal music with elements of other music genres such as hip hop, alternative rock, funk, industrial, and grunge. New metal bands have drawn elements and influences from a variety of musical styles, including multiple genres of heavy metal. New metal rarely features guitar solos or other displays of musical technique. The genre is heavily syncopated and based on guitar riffs. Many new metal guitarists use 7-string guitars that are down-tuned to produce a heavier sound. DJs are occasionally featured in new metal to provide instrumentation such as sampling, turntable scratching, and electronic backgrounds. Vocal styles in new metal include singing, rapping, screaming, and growling. New metal
Accurate.
is one of the key genres of the new wave of American heavy metal.
I don't know about that last part.
Wow, I'm just reading Wikipedia.
When I see new wave of American heavy metal, in my head, like bands like Lamb of God pop up because they were,
Okay,
you know what I
that's
mean?
valid. Yeah.
Because it's like heavy metal. New metal is, in my opinion, the way that new metal was always
Uh oh. We've lost Deuce, or we've lost me. We've lost one of us. Well, anyway, so we've got a great show for y'all today. We're gonna start a new metal band. Deuce is gonna unfreeze at some point, and Deuce has a drum machine, which could probably go into a lot of new metal and stuff. Oh, I wish Deuce would come back. Because I'm running out of. But yeah, so, right now, we are experiencing some technical difficulties. Uh, yeah. Uh, yeah, that's right, it is sweet. So, we'll see where Deuce is at in a minute. But yeah, so new metal. I think the first new metal. Well, actually, some of my first CDs were new metal. I had those Columbia House things. What where you send in a penny or whatever and get 6 CDs or something, and then like your parents yell at you because there was some fine print you didn't read. So I had Issues by Korn, and then I had The Battle of Los Angeles by Rage Against the Machine. Those were among the first CDs I ever got. Um, Not really my like number one like genre, I guess. I do love Rage Against the Machine, always and forever. Um, yeah, but basically, let me pull up the show itinerary because I thought Deuce was going to be here to hold my hand through everything, but he is experiencing technical difficulties. All right. I don't need no booze or drugs. I just chug a lug my coffee mug. Who knows who that is? I don't need no kids because I just want to chug my coffee mug. Okay. Deuce. And then Deuce is right here. Yeah! Return of
So
Deuce.
I'm on my phone.
Okay.
Yeah, my internet just like completely shit out. So yeah,
Oh.
so I'm here, and I don't know where we left off. I'm gonna see if I can connect my headphones to my phone.
I've been just trying
Give me
to.
1 sec to try and redo this real quick. Reduce, reuse, recycle. Oh, I am insane. Losing my brain.
Losing my
Let us
mind.
see.
Losing my
Where is my mind?
Where is my mind? That's my favorite new metal band, the Pixies.
Oh yeah, the Pixies. They're the best new metal band.
They're the best new metal band.
All right.
No, so
Can you hear me?
I can. I can hear you.
All right, hold
Can
on.
you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay.
All right, I'm trying to figure out how to rotate this so I can have the headphone in. All right, so yeah, so this is less than ideal. Hey, here we are. Hey, with a month left around, have a good time. Come and join us. We'll come play music here.
Were you just doing the monkeys
Okay,
thing?
so yes, I
Okay.
was. All right. So I think I left off describing what new metal means to me. So yeah, obviously it incorporates like rap, and the biggest thing for me is having like a groove and a rhythm that's
Okay.
influenced by hip hop in some ways. Oh, hold on, I think I might be back on the internet now. Uh-oh, let's see. This is surreal. There's two deuces right now, aren't there? There's
Yep.
just one.
Double deuce.
Hold on. This is so weird. All right, hold on. Let me get off on my phone and get back onto the.
Got the deuce in the trunk of my car. Oh yeah, you only.
Oh man, did the internet go out again? I'm gonna be so pissed. I think my internet might have went out again on my computer, so I'm just kind of chilling here in limbo. But
Okay.
yeah, we'll just keep going. So yeah. So thank you for being here, everyone. I'm sorry that the internet is giving me so much trouble right now. Yeah, Lucky, how about you give us some examples?
Yeah, so as I was telling y'all, some new metal that I listened, some of the first new metal I listened to was Korn and Rage Against the Machine. I also, let's see, in right before I got on the punk rock wave, also I listened to bands like Linkin Park and System of a Down and stuff like that. I was never really into like the heavier end of the new metal
Yeah.
genre. I like Korn. I did have issues on CD, but I didn't really like it. And I had a friend who was really into like Mudvayne and Slipknot, and I didn't really like it at the time. I mean,
Yeah.
now I kind of appreciate Slipknot, partially because Mick Thompson uses a Demonic Machines pedal in
Oh
his
shit!
setup.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he has a 87 octave fuzz.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
Wow.
but
I
he's
wish we could
also
get a video of him
I know, right?
being like, check it out.
I know that would be awesome. No, but I only figured out it was going to him because I did some sleuthing.
Yeah.
I got an order on Reverb and it was some like logistics company, but then it said care
Okay.
of Slipknot, and then it said
Oh,
like something else and then MT, and I was like,
that's pretty fucking cool, though.
yeah, and I was like, holy crap, you know,
I
and then I go like,
wonder if there's like a video of a rig rundown with it.
Um, I don't know. I know he left me 5 stars on Reverb,
That's a
for
plus.
it, and was like, it's a great pedal, but I don't. I did actually look up a couple of rig rundowns of his after I sold it to him, just because I was curious.
Yeah.
And apparently he likes octave fuzz for like really noisy parts, which I mean, of course, it's octave fuzz. You know, I mean, I feel
Yeah.
like that's all octave fuzz is really good for is noise. But well, maybe not. I don't know. But anyway, so
There's some Jimi Hendrix fans shaking their fist at you right now.
oh yeah, that's right. I mean, I don't know. Octave fuzzes are kind of noisy. At least the 87 octave fuzz is. It's pretty well.
Yeah.
It's quiet until you play it, and then it's like.
It's dynamic. Does it have a dynamic response to the volume of your pickups?
Yeah.
Like your output
Yeah.
from your pickups?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
All
definitely.
right.
It's not
Yeah,
germanium though. It's silicone. But what?
Let's try this again and see if this works. All right. So this is the wrong way. Yeah, I was gonna say when I first heard of Slipknot, I think it was like when their third album came out, Volume 3.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, it might not have been when I first heard of Slipknot, but that was the first Slipknot album that I owned. So that was the one that I heard the most of to begin with. And I think that was when they were in their transition from just like heavy, aggressive, weird, crazy shit to like, hey, let's show people we can actually be musicians as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that I feel like that album had a big impact on me, and I know that I feel like by that point in time, the original nu metal thing just kind of started to like fade out into further sub-genre mutations and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Because I I think the heyday for nu metal probably started in like the early 90s and then ended probably 2001, maybe 2002. In my opinion, that's when I think the pinnacle albums from those, the pivotal bands were released and stuff, like the early Deftones stuff, obviously the early Korn stuff. Some would argue that Korn kind of founded nu metal, and I've actually seen interviews where Korn apologizes for that. Oh wait, no, my bad. Mr. Bungle apologizes for the creation of Korn in interviews. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm not even joking.
I can totally see that too.
Well, because in all the Korn interviews and stuff, Fieldy and Head would talk about how they play the bungle chord. They're like, yeah, we just, we do this fucking heavy riffing here, here, and here, and then we just play the bungle chord. And they were like, yeah, they just always talked about Mr. Bungle being their influence. So then when there was the one interview, I remember it was like, yeah, we're sorry about nu metal. We didn't mean for it to happen. It just, like most bad things that happen in life, it was just something that happened, and we all have to move on and get past it. But I definitely feel that nu metal is a lot more than what many people would think, which I think the seminal nu metal band everybody thinks of now, you hear nu metal, I think people either associate with early Slipknot or they just say Limp Bizkit.
Uh-huh.
Because Limp
Yeah,
Bizkit is obviously, come
Limp
on, it's
Bizkit.
like, yeah, Limp Bizkit should just be called nu metal.
Yeah, I mean, I
You know,
guess. Like, I
I
I don't know. I mean, you're the new metal expert out of us. Like, I'm not a new metal person really.
nu
Like, I don't
metal.
know a lot of new metal.
See, the whole thing is, I feel like the whole genre thing nowadays is definitely played out because everybody's influenced by everything.
Uh huh.
So I just feel like it's silly nowadays, but definitely when nu metal first came out, it was more of a phenomena because
Mhm.
people were so excited because of how much different it was, and it was blending two completely different areas together in a way that a lot of people could get down with. Because I think before nu metal, there probably wasn't a lot of crossover between metal and hip hop and stuff like that, like urban culture, etc., whatever they called it back then. Um, so I feel a lot of these more modern groups that incorporate rap, or these rappers that incorporate metal or hard guitars, etc., into stuff, definitely I feel are influenced by what nu metal used to represent. But the resurgence is, there's just people that are like, hey, fuck you. I grew up listening to this shit. I'm bringing it back.
Mhm. Yeah, because
But
new metal was not cool music like in its first wave.
no, no,
Like,
it was not perceived as cool a lot. It was, I mean, it was popular, but it wasn't considered cool.
yeah, yeah. Like, I mean, like I just remember like I hung out with punk rockers, and so like they would always be like, such and such listens to Corn or something like that.
Yeah.
But
It's
like,
funny how that type of
uh,
shit used to be an insult, right?
mm-hmm. Yeah, now it's just like, what? I mean, like, yeah, like I don't care. I listen to all kinds of music nowadays. Stuff that I wouldn't have dreamed of listening of in high school, which was well, I was in like middle school and high school when new metal was really at its peak, at least in Alabama, which I know
Yeah,
that it originated in like L.A., right?
I think
That like,
so. I think it was definitely in that area because Ross Robinson, who's considered one of the big figures in terms of producing for new metal, because what Ross Robinson did Slipknot's self-titled album, did Limp Bizkit's $3 Bill Y'all. I think what didn't he do Korn's first album? Probably the first two albums for Korn, and just a lot of these really bigger impact groups worked with Ross Robinson, and it just kind of helped build his name up to
okay,
be like, hey, this is the new metal guy, to the point where I don't know if you remember, but Vanilla Ice, he had that new metal album he came out with. I think it was '97. It was called
I remember
Hard to
that.
Swallow.
Uh huh.
It's
Yeah.
funny in a sense, but if you actually listen to new metal and you found that CD and you didn't know it was Vanilla Ice, it's
Mm-hmm.
convincing enough to sound like it's a new metal band. So the only dead giveaway besides the pictures of Vanilla Ice and the cover of Ice Ice Baby, which is, I don't know why
I
you'd
I
put that on
do
a new
know
metal
about
album.
I do know about the new metal cover of Ice Ice Baby, definitely. Like, I think that may have been the only song I've
Stop,
heard off of that.
collaborate, and listen. Ice is back with his brand new invention, whole style. It's like, yeah, no, no, thanks, thank you.
Come
Leave
on,
the song
come
where
on.
it was is how I felt. I mean, it wasn't awful, but it was just, I don't feel like it worked as well.
Yeah, yeah. Vanilla Ice is funny. Like, he cracks me
Oh
up.
yeah,
I don't know.
he's an interesting personality too. It's
Is he?
really weird to see how all these yeah, from what I've seen, he can get along with people really well, but he can also just like be pissed off and start shit with people really well. So
Hmm.
it's like, I guess it depends on the day you catch him, but I don't know. It's just interesting seeing the impact that these people had at their heights in terms of new metal and stuff, and where they are nowadays. Like, what did Kid Rock even got in on it, right? With Ba Wada Ba and what
Yep.
else? All from that Rebel Without a Cause album.
Mm-hmm. I also
And then he
had
went
that
country.
CD. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
a
I remember his
cowboy, baby.
riding downtown with I don't remember.
Cowboy, baby.
No, I was all about some Ba with the Ba in 7th grade. That was like, I thought that was just the greatest song.
I mean, it was new. It was something
Yeah,
exciting because it was different.
yeah, and I mean I was like 12, so I had an excuse. I feel like,
Yeah.
but yeah. Anyway, let's
Yeah,
see.
I can't access my notes right now because I'm using the phone to stream with because my
So
internet's still out.
we've talked about Korn and Limp Bizkit some. What about Deftones?
Um,
I know.
yeah,
Yeah.
Deftones are an interesting case because they themselves, I don't think, like being categorized as new metal. But when they first started, they definitely had all the hallmarks of what it is to be in that group of musicians in terms of, the way that they were writing and stuff. And I think Chino in the first couple of albums as well definitely used more of a rapping delivery and more harsh vocals than the more recent and the later years of Deftones, where it's more like the soft whisper singing and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Deftones now, I definitely feel like is a completely different experience than the first 2 or 3 albums because they changed so much over the years.
Yeah. Okay.
What are you
Sorry.
familiar with from the Deftones?
Nothing. Do they have? Did they have the horse album or horse
Yeah,
single?
White
Was
Pony.
that? Yeah. So like that was like a heroin reference, right?
I think
Uh.
it might have been a reference to that, but it also might have been a reference to cocaine.
Oh yeah. Well, I know heroin is called horse by some people,
Yeah.
and then there's China White, and then
Yep.
there's like black tar and different
Oh yeah.
kinds of heron, you know, which
At the end of the day, what are most of these groups talking about besides sly references to illicit substances, right?
I mean, so I feel like a lot of new metal was a lot of like sly references. I feel like I'm
Yeah.
trying to think of a couple of examples, and I'm drawing a blank right now. Um, but what am Marilyn Manson? Does Marilyn Manson count as new
I
metal?
think Marilyn Manson fits into it because he was around at the same time.
Okay. Um. Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know what I was thinking. I'm going to get some more tea real quick.
So I don't know how well you hear me. Hopefully still just as well. But yeah, just an example. Some of the groups that I would consider from my personal experience, listening and discovering over the years. Obviously, I'm wearing a Head PE hat, Head PE shirt, Head PE sticker because I have a Head PE tattoo on my leg.
Yeah.
I also have a Limp Bizkit tattoo up probably shouldn't be admitting that, but they would be the truth. I consider Disturbed a little bit new metal as well. Like the first two albums, I would say.
There's something weird happening with your sound.
Oh,
Okay, it's not happening now.
better now?
Yeah, it might have just been everything registering on your computer again or whatever. Like I know my mic takes a couple of seconds to come on once I plug it in.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, you sound good now.
Alright.
Yeah, Disturbed. I would definitely think of Disturbed as like, in my mind, like all metal that came out when I was in like, at least all metal that I knew about when I was in like 9th grade, 10th grade, was new metal in my mind. Like I don't know if there were any bands I knew of that like kind of fell outside of that. Oh, did Deuce freeze again? Yeah, sounds like it. But yeah. Disturbed, I think that first album with the weird head thing, that felt very new metal to me. What else is new metal in my heart? Trying to think. There was Woodstock 99, which Limp Bizkit caused a riot at. Oh man, this show is going bad. Alright.
You guessed it. The internet went out again.
Yeah. Oh well.
I'll just stay on the phone. It'll be easier to just stay on the phone because I feel like whenever I get back onto the internet, it just cuts back out, and then there's everybody waiting for me to come back, which
Yeah.
doesn't feel fair to everyone. So,
Uh-huh.
so I apologize for this episode being a disjointed mess because of the service that we are provided that is subpar. However, yeah, I definitely agree with you when you were saying that pretty much a lot of the bands that were coming out around that time I could consider new metal. Like, do you remember? Well, obviously, you know POD, right?
Yeah, totally.
Like Youth of the Nation and shit like that. Like that was huge when that came out.
Here in the South Town.
Yup, that too.
Yeah, yeah.
All sorts of shit.
First mosh pit I ever got in my life was to Southtown by POD. It was the praise band at my youth group at church. They were covering it, and like everyone started moshing in the fellowship hall at the church. And then like the praise band got.
Oh, I think. Hold up.
Okay.
I unplugged the wrong headset. Okay, we're good. Sorry.
Oh, you're good.
I was still plugged into the mixer instead of the phone.
I was just talking about something.
Describing your experiences.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said you moshed to POD.
Yeah, South.
It was your first mosh, right?
Yeah, it was the praise band at my church, and they played it for the youth group, and then they got banned for playing it for the youth group after we all moshed to it. So yeah, that was funny. And then I I think after once I was like 14, I started going to like local shows and stuff. And there was some new metal in our local scene. There was a band called Postal. That was kind of new metal. And then they broke up, and I think some members of Postal went on to be in a band called Crashing Falcon, which was they were pretty popular around like Huntsville and stuff. But yeah, like I said, this is really your realm as far as like.
Oh yeah, it's all good.
Goes.
I just keep getting thrown off by everything. Turning off and shutting off, and it's just super, super distracting to have everything completely shut down in the middle of a thought. Because you know, I had everything planned a specific way, and then of course shit happens. But
Of course. Of course it does.
would you consider there to be any sort of new metal influence with like White Zombie
Oh yeah,
or
definitely.
Rob Zombie stuff at all?
I think I don't think either is necessarily new metal,
Yeah.
but I feel like Power Man 5000 and like White Zombie and some other, I guess, like Ministry around that time, like, as well, or maybe I'm thinking of an earlier period of Ministry,
No,
but like,
no. Like oh, what was it? The Mind is a Terrible Thing to Taste had one or two tracks with rappers on it, so I mean that could be what
oh,
you're thinking of.
okay. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I kind of have a I kind of have a beef with Ministry, just because they ripped off Steve Albini, uh, like with or with Big Black. Like that's why
Yeah.
Ministry sounds the way they do, or did, like after that first album, the new
Yeah.
wave album.
That was a
Yeah,
good album though. I liked the New Wave album.
I was not expecting it when I heard it. I was not
Yeah.
expecting it to sound like that, and so my immediate reaction was like, ah,
You're
what
like,
is
what the fuck
this?
is this? Someone put the wrong vinyl in my sleeve.
Yeah. No,
Oh
it
yeah,
was.
that caught me off guard the first time I heard it too. I had a friend buy it for me for Christmas, and they're like, "I know how much you love Ministry, so I saw this at the used record store, and I got it for you for like $5." And I'm like, "All right, cool." And I'm putting it on, and I just hear like that like saxophone and shit. I'm like, "What the fuck is this?"
Nice.
I definitely think Al has softened to the earlier stuff because at one point Al was like super defensive. If anybody brought it up, he'd be like, "We don't talk about that. I didn't have any control over that. Like the record label, they wrote all the songs. They told me to sing like I was British and this and that." And
Hmm.
then Al has finally come out and been like, "Yeah, it was different times back then."
That's valid.
And then I think they re-released that album on I think it's on Bandcamp, but don't quote me. I think that's a fun one though. Yeah, I would just say we could probably talk about how there's more new metal bands coming out now and how there's almost some sort of a resurgence happening. Um,
Yeah. What are some of the new metal bands that are coming out now?
I mean, there's a couple that came out in the past 5 or 10 years, I'd say, like DED is a big one.
Hmm.
There's another one from like the Netherlands, Dope DOD. There's this one on Instagram that I found called Big Trash that sounds like the video that I saw. It was like, oh no way, they have AI generated Limp Bizkit, and then it had their song playing. And I was like, holy shit, this does sound like Limp Bizkit. And I mean, I'd say if anyone's watching, check out Big Trash Music on Instagram just to see what I'm talking about. It's definitely the closest to new metal that I've heard, like in the Limp Bizkit style, I would say, in a long time. But there's a bunch of groups from all over the world. Like there's a group in Israel, if I'm not mistaken, called Hotbox. They make music. They sound musically, it sounds like early Head PE to me. Like the first couple albums, I'd say maybe a little bit less on the DJ stuff, but definitely
Hmm.
the sound with the rapping and the guitar and bass and syncopated drums and stuff.
Hmm.
Now, would you? I'm not sure if you're familiar with much other than that one album by Helmet, but would you say that Helmet had an influence on new metal developing?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, the syncopated kind of riffing, and that sort of thing. Like I always think back to Unsung, and
Yeah.
that just driving guitar riff, the da na na da na na da na 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 na. Because I mean, so many new metal riffs were that kind of groovy,
Yeah.
like, um, yeah. So that's what I would say. That's what I'll say in
Yeah, I
response to
feel
it.
like there's definitely bands. There's definitely bands that have more of an influence, whether they want to admit it or not. Like I said, with the whole Mr. Bungle thing, and I feel like in hindsight, maybe new metal was not as bad as everybody thought that it was. Maybe if people were a little bit more open minded to the idea of blending those styles together, that maybe new metal would have became a bigger thing than it was. But I feel like because of the musical climate and the cultural climate at the time when everything was coming out, it was just, yeah, it was really popular, but it was such a short span of time in the long run of things, because it was like I said, probably like maybe 5 to 8 years where it was like everywhere on top of the charts, etc., and then it was just gone, and
Mm-hmm.
then everything just moved on to the next thing, which was butt rock. So
Yeah.
I mean, look at some of those, like early Stained, I would say fits kind of into that new metal mold, but then then they moved on and started doing stuff like I'm here. Wait, no, that's not it. That's not them. I was gonna start singing another song, but that is that's
I
Goo Goo
rem-
Dolls.
I had a Stained. I had a some Stained album. I'm trying to. What was the song they had? This is how you remind me. Was that
Outside.
Stained? Outside. I'm on the
Yep,
outside. I'm
that
looking
was
in.
Break the Cycle was the name of that album,
Yeah.
and that had a couple songs on there. I think Epiphany, and there was another song that was a big single off of that. And then I think after that was 14 Shades of Grey, which had So Far Away. So now that you're here, you're so far away. That one.
Yeah.
Um, just trying to think of all these new metal adjacent bands
Mm-hmm.
that, like, I feel like Alien Ant Farm is one of those groups that could very well blend into the new metal umbrella in some ways.
Drowning Pool.
Yeah, I was gonna say Drowning Pool, but I was hesitant to say Drowning Pool because I know that I don't think they like being considered new metal. I mean, who would at that point?
Mm-hmm. We have not
Oh
talked about.
shit, Sam's right. Yes, not. We got about so there was an album that came out with a whole bunch of new metal artists, singers, doing tracks with Snot because their singer Lynn Straight was killed. I think it was a car accident. He was walking his dog, and him and his dog got hit by a car, if I'm not
Oh no.
mistaken. So there was a tribute from all the people in the scene, and it included like the dude from Crazy Town. It had the guys from Seven Dust, Cold Chamber, Slipknot, Incubus, Limp Bizkit, Sugar Ray, like Sepultura, like all sorts of artists from around that time. I think that's what Sam's talking about mainly, because that was
Okay.
it's called Straight Up, and it has some really good stuff. Hold on, I gotta sneeze. Sorry, didn't want anybody to see that. Oh
You're
yeah,
good.
and Jonathan Davis and Serge from System of a Down was on there as well. My bad. But yeah, he was real young when that shit happened. That was tragic, and it's a shame because Snot never really got to the popularity, like the heights of what they could have had. Lynn Straight not been killed, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, Sonny Mayo, the guy who was a guitar player for Snot, he ended up going on to play with Seven Dust for a while. If I'm not mistaken, he played on that Vanilla Ice album, Hard to Swallow.
Right on.
Yeah, I think he did. Anyhow, and that album was interesting too. Like I said before, obviously it was like we're gonna do our John Travolta and Pulp Fiction kind of thing and hope that it sticks, because everybody thought it was like, oh yeah, this hard aggressive image for Vanilla Ice is gonna work. And Vanilla Ice was just genuinely like, no, I just want to do heavy shit now. Like, I'm tired of
Mm-hmm.
doing the bullshit rap stuff. And Ross Robinson assembled like a group of really well-known musicians to play. I think so. Sonny Mayo on guitar. I think he had Scott Borland, Wes Borland's brother, playing bass and I think some keyboards and shit. And I think Shannon Larkin on drums. Can't remember what group he's from, but I'm sure someone will Oh, lost. Looks like we lost Lucky. Yeah, yeah. Look up Hard to Swallow. That's the one Vanilla Ice album that I think that's the one I'm talking about right now that I think you'll be interested in checking out. And then I think the follow up to that was called Bipolar. It was it was supposed to be a 2-disc set, but it ended up just being one CD with 2 separate sides per se. I think the first 8 songs were supposed to be an album called Scabs, which was following up in that new metal style. It featured Josh Brainerd, formerly of Slipknot, and several other high-profile new metal musicians and stuff. I'd say check out Scabs. Look up Bipolar by Vanilla Ice. That's the album that it's on there. I would also suggest if you're interested in the whole half rap / metal and then half hip hop, Cypress Hill, their Skull and Bones album, if I'm not mistaken. That one has one of the discs is like all hip hop tracks, and the other one is more new metal stuff that has the guy from Christian Wolbers, who was the guitar player and the bassist for Fear Factory at one point, and Archaea. I would argue at some points that I think Fear Factory definitely fit into the new metal realm per se, but it varied.
Hello. Sorry.
There we go.
I
You're
don't
good.
know. I don't know what happened because I don't think I lost internet. It just
It was interesting. We were right in the middle, and then you just popped out.
I
I
think
was
it might.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Chrome just shut down on me. Like that's
Oh,
all that happened.
I got you, and it closed out of it.
Yeah. But yeah, that's it. I was just letting everyone know where I went.
I got you. Yeah, we were talking about I was mentioning the musicians that played on that Hard to Swallow album, that Vanilla Ice album, and then I mentioned the follow up to that album that Vanilla Ice did was called Bipolar. It was supposed to be 2 discs, but it ended up just being one. The first 8 songs are like more new metal type stuff, and then the rest is all hip hop shit. And one of the former guitar players for Slipknot played guitar on a lot of those tracks, and I think Ministry's drummer that they have now, who used to be in Stone Sour, Roy Mayorga, played drums on that stuff, and then there was a couple other people that were guest musicians as well on that album. But I was saying that another similar album that was like half metal, half hip hop was Cypress Hill's Skull and Bones album, because they had I don't remember which disc was the metal and which was the rap, but the metal disc had the bass player from Fear Factory playing on the tracks and a couple other musicians and stuff. Oh, Sam says that he saw Ministry in 2014 with Meshuggah. That might have been an interesting show. I mean, 2014 Ministry was pretty good, so can't argue. Well, I'd have to think back to exactly what album. I feel like when Al doesn't have someone to hate, the music that Ministry writes is just kind of like, it's not bad,
Yeah.
but it's,
It's just
So that's why a lot of people really liked the album he wrote when Trump was in office, because it sounded like old school Ministry again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's always been the thing that people say. Well, on the bright side, whenever a Republican gets elected, it's
Yeah.
always like, on the bright side, there'll be a new wave of punk rock, or
You
whatever.
would hope.
Yeah.
You'd hope there's some positive shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Played
I mean,
Gangrene, No W, and Jesus Built My Hot Rod. Yeah, those are all good songs.
oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Now,
I
are
thought you were
there any
talking.
bands that you... Sorry to interrupt. There's a
Oh
weird delay between us right now, so that's what's happening with us like cutting off and interrupting each other, if anyone's wondering why that keeps happening.
yeah.
I was gonna say, you'd mentioned Linkin Park.
Mm-hmm.
Did you talk about Rage Against the Machine at all?
I think I mentioned them, But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think a lot of the new metal formula, it seems like, came from Rage Against the Machine. Heavy, like, kind of funky
Yeah.
instrumentation with, like, screamed hip hop vocals, kind of. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it was, I don't know. I mean, Zach De La Roca, I honestly, I don't know if Rage Against the Machine wants to be considered new metal, but
Yeah,
they
I don't think they
definitely,
embrace it.
yeah, but they definitely influenced it, like
Oh,
in a
absolutely.
big way. Um, and I mean, like, who was it? Tom Morello showed, what's his name, Maynard Keenan or whatever from
Yep.
Tool. Yeah,
Yep.
he showed him how to play in drop D. Like,
Oh, are you talking about you're talking about the guitar player from Tool?
no, I'm talking about Maynard.
Oh, Maynard. Okay, okay. I
Yeah,
was just making
like,
sure.
yeah, because he would write like a lot of the songs and stuff like that. But I mean, I'm sure that what's his name, Adam or Alex something.
Yeah, Adam
Yeah,
Jones.
Adam Jones. That's right. Um, like all I ever think about when I hear his name is how I saw someone on the internet talking about his signature Les Paul, and you know how it's
Yeah.
got the silver burst on it? And someone was claiming that the silver would flake off and get stuck to the pickups, which would cause the pickups to sound less high fidelity or something. And I was like, oh my
Interesting.
god, of all the cork sniffing bullshit, like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, I don't think is that a thing? Do you think
No,
that's a real thing? It was just
no.
bullshit.
Yeah, I think it's total bullshit. Um, but I don't know. That's all I think when I hear Adam Jones's name. I just think about that guitar because I don't know what he looks like. I only know what the drummer looks like, and
Yeah, Danny Carey.
yeah, and I can recognize old pictures of Maynard back when he had like the shaved on the sides hair.
Yeah, like the weird like balding mohawk thing.
Yeah, like a lot of new
Yeah.
metal guys had.
Yep.
Like,
Like the dudes in System of a Down.
yeah, exactly.
There was just I just feel like I feel like new metal definitely launched a lot of interest in guitar effects and pedals, to be honest with you. Like Korn on their Untouchables album,
Mm-hmm.
I was watching an interview and oh my gosh, Head and Monkey were saying that they probably used like over 400 different guitar pedal effects on the entire album for their guitar parts. It was fucking crazy.
Wow.
So they were like it's almost impossible to play these songs live because the way that they were created in the studio, it's impossible to replicate live
Mm-hmm.
for the exact way that it's played. I mean, I'm sure there's been songs that they've played live since the album came out, but I'm sure they had to adjust the way the songs were played so it could be played live, you know. But Tom Morello, did he use a lot of effects or he mainly did his shit with just like a wah
Yeah,
pedal and
a wah, a Digitech whammy, a Boss tremolo, which he only uses on one song,
yeah.
Blues Driver, and I'm trying to think of what else. Those are the ones I can think of off the top of my head, and that's enough.
I
You don't
think
have
he
to.
has a what I was gonna say, I thought that he had a signature guitar pedal now.
Oh, he's got a signature Crybaby, I think.
Oh, okay. Well, I
Yeah.
see. My thing is, whenever it comes to like a wah pedal or
Uh
an
huh.
EQ pedal or something, I always feel like if an artist is like, "Oh yeah, this is my signature," I'm just like, "You just put your name on a fucking wah pedal. Like it's a wah pedal. Like I get that
Yeah.
you like wah pedals and you might have chose the exact taper for the effect, but like it's a fucking wah pedal. How can it be? How can it be a fucking signature? It's like, oh well, this one has a trim pipe, okay, from the 1970s. It goes from 50K to 400K. Okay, it's like no, I'm tired of seeing it. Like because there's like the fucking, it's like the same. It's the same as someone having a signature guitar that's just a fucking stock guitar with their name on it.
Mm-hmm.
How's it a signature at that point, other than having your fucking name on it? Like give me the reason to give a shit.
Yeah.
You know,
Um,
like just doesn't make sense to me. Some signature shit I feel is just someone slapping their name on a box and trying to sell it.
oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that goes with probably a lot of things. You know, like I'm thinking of like basketball shoes, like signature
Oh
like
yeah,
basketball shoes, and
jerseys, etc.
yeah. I mean, I'm sure Michael Jordan wore Jordans. Like, they don't seem like they're bad basketball shoes or anything, you
Yeah.
know. But does everyone wear their signature like shoe, or I don't know. I'm
Oh yeah,
I'm way out of my
skateboards too.
wheelhouse. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Hmm. Would you say skate rock influenced new metal in some ways?
I mean, I'm sure that they were aware of new metal. You know, to what degree I can't necessarily. There we go. Hey, I just turned the light up on my computer. It made my
Hey,
face
there
show
we
up
go. Now
better.
we can actually see you.
Yeah. Oh, but my battery's about to die on my computer. Crap.
Well, we got 9 minutes left, so I think you might be okay.
Okay.
I do need to
Um.
point out though, with me mentioning skateboard rock, I have some bad news. I found out recently that the lead singer from Smash Mouth is in the hospital, uh, surrounded by his loved ones. He's in the final stages of liver failure. So
Oh damn.
rest in peace soon to the guy from Smash Mouth. And this isn't me being facetious or fucked up. I promise. It's a genuine
Yeah.
thought just popped into my head. So if anybody gives a shit, I guess send your
Are they?
condolences.
See, you said skate rock, and my brain went skate punk. You know, and
Oh
I was
yeah,
thinking
no, no,
like
no, no.
bad
I
religion,
did that
no
on
effects.
purpose.
Oh,
I did it on
okay.
purpose, and then I subverted your expectations and threw fucking Smash Mouth in there. Because when Smash Mouth's first album came out, I saw it like somebody in a music store put it with like skate type music and shit like that, like what you were
Uh-huh.
talking about. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is cool. And I listened to it, the album Fushu Mang that has Why Can't We Be Friends on it. And I'm like, this doesn't sound like skate rock to me. So that's why
Mm-hmm.
it was funny to me. But it's
Okay.
also fucked up because I mentioned that the guy's dying and I'm making jokes. So
I mean, how, you
eh,
know that does suck. I
it does
really
suck. I mean,
hate that for
you know what the worst part of it is though? If we
what?
lose him, we're gonna lose Guy Fieri and Violent J from ICP because they're all the same guy.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
That's the joke. Have you ever seen Guy Fieri,
Yeah.
ICP, and the dude from Smash Mouth all in the same room?
No, I haven't.
Hmm. You,
Um.
would you say ICP could be considered on certain stuff as new metal?
See.
Because they
Okay.
had the
So
rap and the heavy metal going on some tracks.
yeah, I would say that like just Juggalo culture. It almost seems like that was like one of the subcultures that came out of new metal. You
I
know,
can
and
see
I know
that.
ICP was around before that, and Juggalos were around before that, and everything.
Yeah, but they definitely got a lot more exposure in the '90s when new metal was developing because what '97 is when they broke through with Great Milenko, and that's when a lot of the new metal bands were starting to come up and start to get popular and stuff. And then history happened the way that it did from there. I feel like uh, I feel like Smash Mouth could have been new metal if they tried hard enough, but they they just on the first album they really tried, and then it was just like maybe we should leave this to the professionals, okay?
Uh huh.
Let's leave this to
Sugar
Power
Ray.
Man on their
Sugar
first
Ray
two
was a metal
albums.
band. Yeah.
Yep, Lemonade and Brownies was the first album, and they were originally called Shrinky Dinks. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
They got
Lemonade and Brownies.
yep, that's the album title.
That's one of
It's
those.
got
Okay.
interesting shit on there.
Uh huh. But that's
It's
one of
like
those.
parodies.
That's one of
Yeah.
those like tongue in cheek kind of references that I'm talking
Oh
about with
yeah.
new metal.
Oh,
Like
absolutely.
it's like peep and poop, pee and poop or whatever, and then like What else? Chocolate starfish in the hot dog flavored water.
Yep.
You know, that's
It was a lot of poop jokes.
Yeah.
It was the poop joke genre. I mean, if you remember the Family Values tour, fucking what was it, 97 or 99? Limp Bizkit came up on stage, and Fred Durst climbed out of a giant fucking toilet.
I
Like, it was a giant toilet on stage, and at the end of the show, they flushed Fred Durst down the fucking toilet like he was a piece of shit. It was
nice.
just everything was it was just like Bart and Dick jokes. Everything was. It was almost, see, and the weird thing is a lot of people are like, oh yeah, Limp Bizkit's like frat rock, and I'm like, man, in a way, because a lot of frat guys really like Limp Bizkit apparently.
Uh-huh.
So it's like there's that weird crossover from metal and hip hop into like the weird like frat area where you'd think like yacht rock and like shit like that, but they're like, oh fuck yeah, Limp Bizkit, dude, like we're gonna bully people and then we're gonna go ride on my dad's yacht and get drunk later.
Yeah.
Like
That's what I would imagine the average Limp Bizkit fan is like. Maybe not.
which is a shame too. It's a shame because I always used to think that certain subgenres had a more respectable fan base, but then I looked in the mirror and I'm like, oh my god, no, they don't. It's just like it's like the breeding grounds of a cesspool, and you're just like, well, I like the music and I'm not part of the cesspool, so at least that's something.
Yeah, I mean, I listen to things that terrible people listen to, and that doesn't make me one of those terrible people. It just
No,
means that I like
as long as
music
you
that
don't do the terrible things.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so we've got about 3 minutes left. So let's talk about. Do we want to talk about our the Spotify playlist for the episode?
Yeah, if you want to read stuff off, I can
Yeah.
I can do that. I'm just like I said, since I'm streaming on my phone, I can't really do too
Yeah.
much on there.
So let's see. Deuce went all out on this episode.
Yeah,
So,
there's
yeah.
there's like a whole album of shit I chose.
Yeah, but we've got Rage Against the Machine, we've got System of a Down, Linkin Park, Kitty, Slipknot, Head PE, Deftones, Disturbed, Korn, Limp Bizkit, Motograter, Mudvayne, Mushroom Head, Powerman 5000, and Kwarashi. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, they're from Iceland, but they gotta see,
Okay.
their story's weird because they're actually a rap group, but Columbia Records scouted them and brought them to the United States and had their producer put together like a band to write music for them to perform live as if they were a fucking new metal band. And that album is the one album that came out of that deal with Columbia. So I figured I'd put that one song on there so people can check it out and see what was going on. Because the dude from Kwarashi sounds kind of like Zach De La Roca.
Okay.
It's really, really interesting. Like somebody described it as Zach De La Roca with Limp Bizkit. So
Okay.
we'll see. People can make their own decisions. Sam's saying to put the song "Stupid" on there by Snot, which
Okay.
I could agree. That's a decent one. And then I was gonna say, look up after you do that, look up that band Big Trash and see if they're on Spotify.
Okay.
And we could pick a song from them too, because I've been talking about them the whole show.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, it's AI generated Limp Bizkit.
Big Trash.
Yeah.
Not Bug Trash. Big Trash.
Yes.
Yeah, they're on here.
All right. What are they?
There are two songs, Payday
Okay.
and Bomb Diggy. I'll put.
Which do you want to put on there?
Well, Payday has 5 times as many plays as Bomb Diggy, but Bomb Diggy is explicit.
Which represents the new metal vibe better? The explicit one or the one that more people like?
The explicit one.
We'll do the explicit one then.
Nice.
And as always, anyone who's watching this currently or is going to watch this in the future, I don't know why you'd want to do that, but by all means, you're welcome to. we will have we will have a link to the Spotify playlist in the description of the video on YouTube. As far as Twitch and Facebook, I don't know how those work, but I'm sure Lucky will be able to put a link to the playlist on there as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And with that, we've limped our way through the new metal episode.
Wow.
It's
That's
true. The internet,
Mm-hmm.
the
The
fucking
internet
everybody up today.
did not want us to have this show, and we fought the internet this entire time. So
I thought how ironic that we fought the internet the whole time, and your cam just shut out the second you said that, and it was like the internet saying "fuck you" to both of us, and now you're frozen, unless I'm frozen. And Sam, I'm not 100% sure. I just know there's going to be a link in the description when the video is complete. I think Lucky's frozen. I think the internet struck back. The internet did not like hearing that we were fighting it the entire night. So, yeah, I think that might be it. So until my friend returns, yeah, Sam, if there's any other stuff that you wanted to ask while we're still up, you're more than welcome to. Oh, okay. So I'm actually going to be ending this. Lucky said that their computer has died, which means I'm assuming the live will continue until Lucky ends it, but I will be logging off. So thank you as always for joining. And, I hope that you all had a good time. And we will catch you on the flip. Adios.